Hello and welcome to my screencast. My name is Thomas Anaho and I am on a team with Patrick Holland and Zelen. So this is a recording displaying how I made a game that I'll show you now. The game was a 2D multiplayer game for our module multiplayer distributed programming, which is due today. So I'll show you how the game works. So here's our menu and we have different options here. So as you can see, there we have two players on the screen at the same time. They are controlled by two different sets of controller. So if I do the arrow keys, then we'll move that plane or spaceship, and then if I use the WASD, that will move them. So if I click space, that spaceship will fire, and if I click F, this spaceship will fire. So I'll just show you the controls. I do have collision detection in this, so the bullets will hit and make impact. And also I can take damage. So you can see here my health is going down slowly. So that spaceship has died now. Also, if I run into that, it will die as well. So show you here. So one of the issues of the game is the lag. This is due to, I think, my own PC settings. It's not very good PC, and also the amount of bullets used. I'll be able to talk about this later when I'm talking about how we're going to control the network activity. So it's fairly simple. You just survive as long as you can, and at the end you cross the finish line and you succeed. So that's the game. And I've just failed the mission there. And it goes back to the original main screen. So I'll show you the code that I worked on in this codes. So unfortunately we didn't get a lot of the functionality that we wanted in the game to work. So I'll just go we did get some of the stuff to work, and I'll just go through some of the stuff that we were able to change in the time that we had. So all the stuff that you'll see that I'll show you now is stuff that I worked on. So I was able to change the enum type for the aircraft. It allowed me to add in different ships, as you can see here. In the world, I changed the enemies or added in enemy players, stuff like that. So like that squad, Prada, and Ravager, I think. So this just shows where the enemies are and what when to put them in. I also helped add in code with Zilin to add in two players. So this is add playercraft 1 and add playercraft 2. For our code, me and Zilin work in pair programming, so that's where the code. So on the last day of the game, what we did was we done some of the features, added in features, and then just did bug control to try and fix as many bugs as we could. In the player state, we just changed this to mission success, so that would fix that bug at the end, where it would say mission failed if it didn't. So set up. And then in the data tables, I was able to bring in the new players from the visuals. So I was able to help the team by figuring out how you could bring players in. So we would player to player, give it a position, its health, things like that. Puts a position in the actual image that it's being loaded from. So in this case, it's entities, and then it would use the enum types that we specified here. This for all of the spaceships. And then in the aircraft, remove just the bounding visual for the bounding box. I didn't actually remove the bounding box, but I just removed all the visuals for it to make the game smoother. That's all the code that we worked on for the game. So I'd like to show you all of the images we have. So I made some or most of the images for the game. So this is the image for the title screen. It's fairly simple. I just got this image here from a free image site online, and then I just made this logo online with another online logo generator and just add that in. Next you'll see our entities.png. So this is all the entities that we use in the game. As you can see here, we were originally going to use castles. So these are 2 images that I created. These were supposed to be player 1 and player 2. And player 1 and player 2 were supposed to fight against each other. So it was going to be like red versus blue. But unfortunately, due to time constraints, we couldn't do this. So we just reverted back to just using a standard spaceship model that we found online. The last thing that I worked on was the GIF version, just like 9 images of an explosion. So how this would work was like after the spaceship dies or it explodes, then these set of images would play on top of it and the image would fade out. So those are the images that I worked on. So next, what I'd like to talk about is how we're planning to bring in the network control first. So if I can show you the game. So here is like just a still of the game just to help explain it. So you can see the bullets are here, the spaceship, hull points, and this is the original ship, castle ship. We took that out because we didn't think it fitted the team. So if we were going to make this a network game, what we would do would be we would load all the images that are needed from the game itself. So each separate computer would have access to its own set of images, which it would load itself. The only thing that we would send over the network are the position of each image and the amount of bullets on the screen at a time. So the amount of bullets are key because we found that when we were testing the game, that the more bullets that were being drawn, the faster the frame rate would drop. So as you can see here in the corner, it's about 60 behind this info row here. That's only because there's about 2 bullets. But when there were a lot of bullets on the screen, the frame rate would drop drastically. So that would be something that we would need to look into for the UDP and TCP network connection. We hope to use binary values to store data. So we would do this in sort of like a checkbox way. So if the number was 5, the number 5 on the binary value would only need to be stored in an 8-bit integer. So the number would be 00010001, I think. So it would be a 4 and a 1. Actually, sorry, it would only need to be in a 4-bit integer because a 5 in binary is 1001. So we would use that as a checkbox. So you would use and, or, and not to figure out where the ones are in the binary values. And then each value would mean a different thing. So like, for example, if we were going to use the same number of 5, then 4 would be a specific type of ship. So 4 might relate to the ship here. And then 1 would be to whether its like health is at 10% or 20% or something like that. Using those 2 values, then along with other values later on, like further in the numbers of like say its position on the screen, could be able to tell its position on the screen, where to draw it on, where to draw which ship to draw, and what its health is at the moment. So we would have a separate binary value for each element on the screen that we needed, and we would do this for every single element. So that's how, at the moment, is our initial idea for sending data over the network. The most an emphasis on not efficiency, but storage and space. So we want to be able to send as little information as possible to make the game as functional as possible. Well, that was my presentation. I hope you enjoyed it, and thank you very much.